Commissioner Lowe,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairperson Saucier.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna go into reports from fire personnel. Can I have the chief's report?
The monthly report for our fire chief for the month of March, there was a total of 53 calls. And then there was 2 generals in town, 2 generals out of town. We had a total of 12 EMS assists, 29 miscellaneous calls made up of wires, brush, pump outs, things like that. And there was 53 hours and 13 minutes in manpower. We held a line officers meeting, since we appointed the new safety officer. We've made some changes to try to streamline things, make things a little bit better. Went over the expectations of the fire department, what we expect of everybody, changed some job titles to make that work. He's been working very diligent. As everybody sees, we've worked on new badges now that we have, for when we go out of town or if we're on a call. Somebody can scan the barcode, or if the state comes in, they can scan the barcode, and all your certifications are uploaded into the system and will display right on the telephone. We've used the same card as our accountability tags. We went and did all new accountability tags to go along with all the turnout gear that we just purchased, so that's done. We're in the process of updating everybody's training records to get that done. If anybody's interested in joining, please let us know. We'll get you an application. Other than that, we're trucking along. You want me to do the fire officials one?
Yes, sir.
There was a typo in the fire officials report, I apologize. It's for March of 2025. There was 32 inspections. There was, life hazard uses were 6, 25 locals. There was 1 complaint inspection. There was a total of 6 re-inspections. We had 12 resale inspections for the month. And there was a total of 4 fire permits issued and 2 fire investigations. I respectfully submitted myself.
Thank you. Do we have anything new for the apparatus?
All the vehicles are just about done. We have one more going out for the oil change, and all the PMs will be done. All the testing's been done. There's a couple things that need to be ordered. I'm gonna get with the director to, go over the financials to make sure the money's there. We're gonna go ahead and order it and get it replaced.
Cool, thank you. Safety officer report?
Madam Chair, you have a copy of the safety
Yes, I
officer's
do.
report in your packets. And it's been for him to say it's very thorough, lengthy. He is doing a great job, working well with the staff, the volunteers, implementing some new ideas.
Can we possibly use the microphone so that the folks in the back can hear now that we have them?
Again, the safety officer's doing a good job, and you have this report attached in your packets. Also, I don't know if you were previously receiving these reports, but there's a monthly report issued by West Hampton. As per their shared service agreement with us, they're providing fire services on a regular basis, so you have a report from them as far as the incidents they're responding to in our municipality.
All right, thank you for that. Committee reports, building and grounds?
Building and grounds. I was privy to a few things, but the director made himself the point of contact with Oberon going forward, so he would have to give this report. Thank you.
I'll cover that in my report.
Okay. I don't have anything for personnel and policies. Judy? No. Apparatus and equipment, we just went through. For planning and services, nothing for that at the moment. Budget and finance?
So I'm part of budget and finance as well, and been recently made aware that that's just an advisory role, so I will also defer to the director, who's gonna go ahead and give that report on our behalf.
That would be your finance director, Rhea Brooks, if she has anything to add.
What? Well, we're the budget and finance committee, are we not? Excellent. So, if I was,
Excuse me if I misspoke, I thought that was the budget and finance.
finance committee.
That's some great money we're paying for.
As an employee, the finance right now is going to be going into the audit procedure. I will be prepping for our auditor to come in and do that audit. the only thing I have right now.
Thank you, Rita. Resolution 2025.
Sorry, I have a quick question. Chief,
The director could answer this as well. Am I losing sound on this when it goes off?
If you could back off the mic just like a couple inches.
I'm here now, and I'm here, and
No.
I'm here. The light is green, but it seems to be going in and out.
That's very funny.
It could be the.
Good quality.
the reports that you're reading from tonight, which are lovely, thank you for their preparation in written format. Can I ask when they were submitted?
I received, the safety officer's report yesterday, I believe, and I received his, fire official and the chief report today.
Thank you very kindly.
Resolution 2025-12 will be tabled again.
Oh, there's also old business and new business.
Oh, old business, I'm sorry. I totally skipped over that part. We have nothing under old business. And new business would be exactly everything I just said, which is being tabled.
I'll make a resolution to table 2025-12.
Thank you. Can I have a second? Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Logue,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairperson Cecile.
Yes.
And
I'd like to reiterate my request.
request to review the written format of that that's been currently available prior to our next agenda. So as soon as possible, if as soon as practicable.
Stephen, we have need to add something on to the agenda.
Yes.
Can you explain what we need to add on to the agenda?
We will be adding on a resolution to approve the director contract of Mr. Cardy, who was appointed at the last meeting. I believe it is resolution number 15.
Yes.
The title is Resolution Authorizing an Employment Agreement between Mount Holly Fire District Number 1 and Jason Cardy for the role of Director of Fire Services.
I'll make a motion to add that to the agenda.
Motion to add.
Commissioner Logue,
I abstain.
Commissioner Shepherd,
No.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairperson Cecile.
Yes.
And then there needs to be a motion to approve.
It's a motion to approve, correct?
I'll make a motion to approve that contract.
I'll second
Commissioner Logue,
No.
Commissioner Shepherd,
it. No.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairperson Cecile.
Yes. Motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda. Motion to amend the agenda to advertise for quotes for cleaning services for the Relief Fire Building.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, roll call?
Commissioner Logue,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaskell,
No.
Commissioner Brown,
No.
Chairperson Cecile.
No. Sorry, I'm ready. Give me a second. We'd now like to open public comment for general fire service matters. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the board's attention their concerns or comments. The board will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted, the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate committee. We ask that the public state their full name and address for the record and keep their comments to 3 minutes. First row?
I'm sorry, is there a reason why this has moved? That the director's report is no longer given prior to public comment, as had been the case since January or since the December reorg? Because that used to come right after chief's report.
The chair and myself set the agenda, we set the agenda in accordance with what the bylaws are.
So we weren't meeting bylaws before?
I sent you a copy of the bylaws today, Commissioner Shepard, and this agenda, I believe, reflects what the bylaws say.
Wait, there are bylaws?
Bylaws available, and I have not been sent a copy of them either,
Yeah.
because I've been asking for those from the chair since prior to my election. Has she not made you aware of that?
As I informed you guys in the executive session, yeah, the record retention is showing just got access to the OneDrive of former Director Donnelly, who's been gone for quite some time now. So I don't know what you guys did in the interim while he wasn't here, but I got access to his OneDrive now, which gave us a treasure trove of documents we've been looking for. So anything, again, as I told you upstairs, email me, I'll gladly send you any document we have, as it's your right to access to.
Then I get that, but I'm just trying to figure out if we had Director Eckert, how we were operating under Director Eckert, and you're coordinating with the chair now, why would you make changes?
I can't
if we
speak
don't-
to what Director Eckert did.
Okay, but you're utilizing bylaws that you understand to have been produced under Director Donnelly. So are we unaware or aware whether there were amendments to those bylaws during Director Eckert's tenure? Can the chair answer that for you? So
I
that
have
we
no-
would know whether or not they had been doing it correctly? Because I don't understand what the change would have been.
I can't speak to before this meeting
Okay,
of how you guys conducted your order of business, with roll call or documents or anything.
But, Rosemary,
Again,
we can go
any
back
documents, email me,
okay.
and I will
we'll
gladly
make sure
provide
that
you
it's
if it's
consistent.
in my purview. As I told you yesterday, I'm doing a deep dive in the physical records that we're still missing some things that have been requested.
Okay, excellent. So.
But recently, yes, the OneDrive has been made available by IT to me, and I can find some things.
Okay, so when I look at the meeting minutes from Director Donnelly's time, I will see that the director's report came after public comment?
I would have to-
When when I look at the agendas, that's the way I'll see it, because that will be reflective of the bylaws, is that correct?
Ask Josh and Nicole, they were here. They were there when Donnelly was there. Was it like this before, Chairwoman Nicole?
I don't remember.
Oh, just after.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that and we'll revisit it. I appreciate your due diligence trying to get the most updated and accurate information for us. I appreciate that very much, and I'll look forward to reviewing it.
I'll
Thank
put it
you.
on my list of bylaws in addition to that resolution policy for the resolution.
Wonderful, I appreciate the effort. And I'm sorry to have usurped your time, folks, Chair.
No, please do.
First row?
Michael Rothmel, 33 Union Street, Mount Holly. First of all, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but I'm glad you found the bylaws, because that was one of my Oprah requests, and I guess I can expect them on or before Friday. Now, when I looked, there was no agenda posted, so I decided to provide handouts for the people tonight. The first thing I handed out was the resignation letter of Kate Senzik Haynes Esquire. It appears she resigned because she found the board has become increasingly complex and fragmented, making it difficult to be able to give advice, as there appears to be different and diverse factors guiding the board members' actions and reactions, making my job as counsel ineffective. And the second thing I handed out was Ted Rosenberg's complaint, which I got off eCourts, indicating that the hiring of Jason Hardy as fire director was done illegally and not according to law. And it appears to me that she resigned because the fire commission would not listen to her legal advice as to the proper way to hire a fire director. And what you did, you hired somebody from a firm that gave $7,000 to the Brown and Banks campaign, and his son sits on the fire commission, and we know how that firm got appointed to the fire commission as well. And it appears to me that it was rubber stamped. And the way the legal counsel works in this fire commission is that the majority on the right tells the lawyer what they want to hear, and they get that legal advice. And I don't say that flippantly, because if you read count 2 of Mr. Rosenberg's complaint, we know there's a lot of things that this commission did not do in the hiring of Jason Carty. And last month, I called him cowardly. And I think it stands out even more when you read Mr. Rosenberg's complaint. Number one, the first thing you have to do to hire a director is you have one meeting where you have the reading of the resolution by title. Then you have to have a second reading stating the term, compensation, and duties of the commissioner. There was never a second reading or even a first reading of the appointment of the fire director. It was done just by saying in December there's going to be a meeting March 5th. And the March 3rd meeting that really didn't materialize never said anything about the hiring of a director. So there was failed to provide proper notice. The only way we knew that there was going to be a fire director appointed was in an anonymous mailing warning us that we should be here because something was going to happen. You also failed to publish the term, compensation, and duties of the fire director in a newspaper of general circulation. Only notice of the meeting. The next violation, I think, proves what I said about being cowards, because 48 1481.1C requires you to have public comment before making the decision on who to hire, and during that public comment, the public has the right to ask questions, contrary to the resolution that's attached to your agenda. And you made the decision to go into closed session and hire Mr. Carty before the public speaking. And that agenda was changed because the original agenda had public speaking before closed session, and then the agenda at the meeting was after closed session. So you purposely changed it so you wouldn't have comments, because you know he's not popular. He's been kicked out of the fire department twice. He sued West Hampton for $500,000. He left Willingboro for reasons that are undisclosed, and generally, I think can be toxic. So again, you violated the law when you hired him. And then I think Ms. Gaskill was conflicted because her husband works for the fire department under 48.9-23. And again, she voted, and I think whatever you've done with regard to the contract tonight and whatever you've done in hiring him in the first place is going to be voided. On April 16th, because that's the third thing. April 16th, courtroom 7C, 9:30 is when the order to show cause is returnable.
Thanks, Mike.
Good evening, Limits Lopez 911 June Grisham. I hope I said your name right. Can you give me the update status to the link I sent you for a grant of the last fire commissioner?
The director has that.
It was forwarded to the director.
Talking about the water company grant bills?
Yes,
Yeah, they do that every year.
if they
I
apply.
had a discussion with the chief, we're gonna look into it.
That's the first thing I got in my email. I sent it directly, to you. The first thing. Second is it's more what happened. The last commissioner changed the changed the public meeting to the end. I think that's a violation of sunshine law. I mean, you should be fined at least $10,000 or reverse the decision. I'm just curious. I mean, it's totally wrong. Disappointing what's going on. And one question we had in why was Mr. Chief was not in the executive session? Can you answer that?
It's a public comment section. It's not a question and answer.
Say it again?
He's not going to answer you.
It's public comment. Make your comments.
Oh, the next public comment?
We're not going to answer you, Louis.
Just welcome. Just remember.
I don't know the answer to that question. If the board as an entire body is directing the solicitor and the director to not answer you, I don't have the authority to override that. I don't know the answer to that question. It is a question that I myself have. Perhaps I'll ask that of you at a later date in another executive session so as not to expand our bill of you.
The entire fire system we're going to fix this, decisions that happened from the public meeting. I meant the public meeting from the last all the way straight to the beginning. Could you switch it back where it was? That would have fixed everything. And just remember, tomorrow's going to be another important meeting at the Lumberton Township meeting. Everybody welcome to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Anybody else in that room? Second row?
Tim, do you have anything?
Christina Johnson, I'm a member of this firehouse. I was unable to attend last month's meeting, however, I watched the live video. I was appalled at the remarks and actions of fellow members. I was also amazed non-members and members were commenting on hearsay, personal feelings, and political views concerning the hiring of the new director. I asked myself why. Why did none of you ask questions about qualifications? Those of you that know me know I do not lie, nor will I stretch the truth for anyone, friend or not. Yes, I am friends with one of the commissioners, but she will be the first one to tell you our friendship never affects my values nor commitment to this firehouse. No one is more dedicated for over 49 years to this firehouse than my husband. I applaud the 3 commissioners for standing their ground and hiring the best person for the job based on qualifications and experience. I may not personally like a person, but I am adult enough to put aside my personal and political views to support what is best for this firehouse. I also never listen to hearsay, but rather get all the facts and make my decisions. Someone disparaged a past chief who now holds another position and is highly qualified for his current position, despite what some of you were told. Another incident brought up happened over 20 years ago and has no bearing on the current qualifications of the new director. The new director was the best qualified candidate, and I think he will do the director's position justice. If not, the commissioners, excuse me, this is my time. If not, the commissioners can fire him, but give him a chance. He has already made positive changes. You all that have lived in Mount Holly for years, as I have, ask yourself, when was the last time you saw the firehouse conduct a training drill on a Monday night? Hopefully you will now. Despite what some would have others believe, this firehouse needed a director. Some of you dialed into the drama being caused by one commissioner who knows nothing about the firehouse and is using it as her personal soapbox. This firehouse has no room for personal issues or political agendas. The drama needs to stop. Commissioners need to work together, as do members of this firehouse. For members and non-members alike, be personal friends, but do not fall into the drama being caused by one commissioner and lies. Why did an accountant feel he had to get up at the last meeting and give his credentials? We have a very capable accountant who does her job and has held the position for quite some time. There has been no talk of replacing her. Does one commissioner have a personal issue with the current accountant? Why are you not all asking these questions? I also asked why one of the other commissioners is falling into the drama instead of what is best for this firehouse. Is it political or personal? Please, get off your soapboxes, stop the drama, and do what is right. Also, you cannot be fired from a Facebook page, especially if you were never hired. Please, I ask all of you, be friends, but stop listening to lies, hearsay, personal vendettas, political agendas, and get back to what the firehouse is meant to be. Firemen serving their community and saving homes and lives.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Johnson. I wanted to point out and thank you specifically.
Excuse me, this is only for public
I'm
comment.
permitted to speak as a member of this committee.
Come on.
I wanted to thank you because it was actually your testimony at Fire Commissioner Board meetings that enticed me to become engaged. You were so passionate on behalf of the firefighters and their having access to this building that I became curious as to what was going on. You were so passionate about the actions of the chair in misusing this area for photographs. I was curious, please allow me to finish. I was curious if there was any validity to your claims. And when I sought out answers to those questions, I thought that I might be able to shed some light and affect some positive change that you yourself appeared to be seeking.
You're
So if for
causing more
some
drama.
reason you
You are causing
misunderstood my
more
role.
drama, and the firehouse doesn't need that. The firehouse needs everyone to work together.
I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm looking very forward to
Then
it.
I hope you
And
know
I'm
how
looking
passionate
forward
I
to
am,
it.
that everybody is
Time is up.
Thank
Sit
you,
down.
Johnson.
Done.
The only drama sitting right up there.
So thank you for being publicly and civically engaged. I'm looking forward to helping you facilitate the change you vocally sought.
Next. Next.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if the solicitor gives Commissioner poor advice that actually turns out to be illegal, and then gets the commission sued. Jim Logan from Brainerd Street, I believe you know me. I'm just wondering, can the solicitor be held liable for the advice he gives to the commissioners, if that advice then breaks the law, as Commissioner Gaskell is being sued currently? Can the solicitor also be sued by the members of the township?
Good question. I'm not going to comment on any litigation.
Of course you will. Again, also, last time I was here, we spoke about Jason Carney and the last time he held a position like this. Nicole, you said you were aware that, the incident that happened in West Hampton, but you said this is Mount Holly, not West Hampton. It'll be different. Already, here is the lawsuit that we spoke of. So why did you think that anything would be different when it is clearly not different? June Gaskell, if you were being sued for the conflict of interest on the vote prior to this, why did you feel the need to vote today on the contract? Why didn't you abstain from the contract vote? That your husband works here for the fire department. It's clearly stated in the lawsuit, which I'm sure you've been presented, no? So I'm wondering, why did you not abstain from the vote tonight? I can see it for all 3 minutes if you want.
We're not going to comment on the pending litigation.
Okay, thank you.
Next. I don't know what role I'm on, to be honest. Hello, Ms. Foster.
Hello, Tara Astor, 416 Glenwood Street, Mount Holly. Just two quick questions, sorry. One, will the fire district bylaws be uploaded and available for the public to read on the website? Is it something that the public can see?
I don't know if that's something that has to be voted on by the whole body in order to affect that change, or if that already exists in the bylaws. I'm sure that once the director has the opportunity to review what is available to him, that will be brought to us, and we will have an opportunity to consider that. And as I understand it, we don't have an answer to that right now, even if we did.
All right, awesome, thank you. And the other one, just a comment, I checked the website right before I came to the meeting. Please post the email contact information of the Director of Fire Services on the fire district website so the public can contact if needed. That's it, thank you.
Maureen Taylor Ford, 117 Branch Street. Happy Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Just a quick question. So, as a concerned citizen here, the physically engaged active citizen that I deem myself from what the New Jersey League of Municipalities told me. Not too internet savvy, but looking here at the internet on your paper, it says to the website to ask questions, I think. You're the chairperson, Nicole? Okay, so I guess the question is for you. It says, the township the fire commission website on the bottom, home.myholly fire, da-da-da. So when I go to that website, it's not updated. Even on there, it says that, you guys are still looking for a director. I'm assuming you hired one. Okay, it's still, the website needs to be updated. So who's to update the website? The last incident on the website says like 2023. I'm almost certain we had at least 2 houses burned down in the last couple of months. I would assume that would mean there should be some 2025 incidents listed up there. So I'm not certain who is in governing the website. That's my thing as a concerned citizen. Also, because I'm trying to understand how the fire commission differs from the township's meetings. As a concerned citizen, my question is, it says here, make your appropriate appointments. I guess your question is provided to the, making the appropriate appointment to the appropriate committee. Where's the committees listed at? I don't see that on the website, so where are they? I didn't,
They are on the website.
you know where at? Cause I mean, the website is, doesn't look like it's up to date. And I, like I
No.
said, I'm not very computer savvy.
That was
but
put up a while back.
It was? And it says Mount Holly Fire District number 1, I'm assuming,
I'm
since
trying to remember
17.
what town it's on. We are also we are in the middle of updating the website to make it more streamlined, because I think there's just too many pages. So.
Do you know how many
it's all
committees
up
are
to date.
there? Am I allowed to ask how many committees there are, since I can't find it on this website?
It's on your agenda.
Mrs. Ford, now that we have a director, our committees are in advisory positions only. So if you have any real questions or issues, please direct them to the new director.
Oh, well, okay, so Terry just asked for the information on the website. Okay, and I guess that was the only other question about the incident, because it's not updated on the website. I'm assuming that's soon gonna be updated. Is that gonna include only fire issues? It's gonna include water issues? Anything like that, or just fire only?
Stellar Ford, we're in the process of updating the website. I got a whole list of your things people said that need to be updated on it. And work with the chief to get the incidents. Now, when it says incidents, just be aware it's just numbers of how many. It doesn't list where the incidents were. That's a different.
Would it give any public knowledge moving forward if I'm a concerned citizen of issues that happen in my area?
As far as what, real-time information? That's.
Well, not real time, just I guess historical data, you know, how it's
We'll
burned
get
down.
that update. I believe last year on there's 2023, we gotta get 2024's numbers up there. That'll be the next update, and then we'll work on getting a monthly update once the month's completed of how many incidents were that previous month.
So you're gonna work on 2024 currently, so how long before 2025 is up? Because we're already
As soon as we get 2024 up there, 2025 will be the next thing we do.
Okay, so moving forward with Tara asking about your information on the internet, when people are going to email you with these questions about these committees, are we also gonna CC the chief on this, or are we sending it directly to you alone?
You have the right to email anybody you want, ma'am.
All right, well, thank you.
Mrs. Ford,
Yes.
If you put committee in the search bar of our website, that first page that comes up is the Board of Fire Commissioners. If you scroll to the lower level of that page, the committees and the members of those committees are listed by name, as well as each commissioner, our individual roles, and our emails with the district.
Is that on the website itself, I type it in?
In the search bar,
Search
if
bar.
you type the word committee and search, if you struggle with that, please find me after the meeting and I'll happily help you.
I will, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Program.
Thank you, Ms. Ford.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Jeff Eversmeyer, 203 Broad Street. So I assume that you now have a contract with Jason Party. So is this gonna be made public as to what the contract involves, and what his jobs are?
Yes, the contract, now that it's been passed, it's public.
Okay, so we should be able to get that. And who drew up the contract? Was it our lawyer, or was it the commissioners up there who drew up the contract for Jason Party?
As I understand, it was prior council.
What's that?
Prior council?
The prior council drew up the contract with the amounts and everything, and their jobs and description. So if we asked the prior council what they were gonna pay the new person, and all the documentation, I can contact her, and she can provide that to me.
Again, I don't know that would be attorney-client privilege, I don't.
Well, it can't be, now it's passed on to you, because you're the one who had, you're the one who had to sign the
The public
contract.
document that has now been approved is what any draft documents are called draft, they're not.
The township's a client, we're the client.
Okay, well, anyway. When I found out you were looking for a director of fire services, June told me that her and Nicole were in charge of this. And they were sorting through the applications and checking them all and trying to decide who would be the best fit. And for some reason, June didn't think, according to her, talking to me, she didn't think that she was quite sure who she wanted to appoint as fire director. So I said, well, if you're not sure, you know, maybe you should, give it another 90 days and seek a little further and talk to some people and see if you can come up with somebody that works for everybody on the commission. It seems like it was just the two of you working on this whole thing. She said, June said she did reach out to a former member of Mount Holly Fire Department, but they never got back to her. I said, well, why don't you reach out to them again? So I didn't hear about that, so I don't know what happened. And then she said, why don't you talk to Nicole and say, why don't you just give it 90 days? And she said, Nicole said, we gotta do this ASAP. We don't wanna waste any time. So anyway, I have no idea why it was such a rush to fill the position. It's so important to the future of our town. I think the firefighter she was speaking about might have been George Sanders. He's a 30-year volunteer. He worked with her husband in the fire department.
We can't talk about previous people because they.
I can talk about anybody I want to. This is my time.
Right.
So George
You can't
Sanders
answer that.
applied, and he got no response from the fire commissioners. So my question is, so I said, George, I said, when I met him, I said, because I met him at the last meeting, he said, didn't you apply? He said, they seem like a stand-up guy. I said, I did. They never got back to me, so I called them and asked if they got my application. And they said yes, but I never heard back from them. So he served our community for 30 years. And he also helped consolidate all the fire departments. So he's a leader. So why didn't we consider him at all? That's one question.
Thank you, Mr. Oversmeyer.
No, I've got my 3 minutes. Don't keep cutting me off, Nicole. You don't have no right to. I got my 3 minutes. How many time I got?
1 minute.
The other guy was Scott Mitchell, who works for Vincenttown. He's a chief. He was the guy who was, I guess, his second runner-up to come in here. And he said, I don't understand why we're paying for
Mr.
fire.
Oversmeyer, your 3 minutes are up.
Just keep going.
I wish I went to
Just keep going.
Lumberton, because Lumberton, you get 5 minutes, and they actually answer questions.
We're not Lumberton, but thank you.
No kidding, I
Thank you for your
understand that.
comment.
I
Other people
understand
get
that.
unlimited, keep going.
I'll come back on the next meeting, or maybe I'll yield my time to somebody else that can finish it. You guys are awful smug up there, all three of you.
Anyone else?
Scott Mitchell. You get your insurance from the deputy.
Promised him a job.
You built a Vincenttown firehouse from 2016. You never seen one that other things. Must give you $80,000 a serve. This is firefighters approved for free. He was like wanted to cover it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, board and people behind me. My name is David Bialba, 166 from Conference Road. Gonna try to go through this real quick. How was the contract drawn up? And if it was, you don't have to answer it, so I'm putting it out there. Are we protected by, from Cardi, Mr. Cardi suing the town in any way? Are there any clauses in there that'll protect the town, the citizens of the town? Not the town, because the citizens pay the taxes on that. And sadly, I see it's still a lot of hostility going on around here. The other thing is, do we have any ethics in it, as far as morality and any respect that we're gonna show as far as the board is concerned in the town, and Jason Cardi as well? And the other question, and with all due respect for his wife, and I hope she gets all the help she needs, but my question out of curiosity, because I have family and I took care of them when they needed help, is how's he gonna split his time? I had to quit my job, and go work and take care of my family. How is he gonna take care of his family and yet take care of the work? And put 100% in the work, yet he has to put 120% in his family. But we'll leave it out there, because we're not gonna answer it today. Because Because I'm sure from what I hear, he's got enough money that it should be okay, so this job doesn't really matter, or it shouldn't. And, again, I just hope that if any future ramifications happen in the family and it affects the morality of the town or the appearance of the town or the appearance of the board, I'm hoping that you're willing to answer those questions and accept that responsibility of the town. Whatever happens, whether another incident like it does in the past, or whether he does something or anyone does something, I just hope that the town is ready to accept any of that. And I appreciate the two ladies on the left. You're doing a wonderful job, Rosie, so thank you.
Thank you, David.
Can I address that briefly? I would like to say thank you for being
engaged, and yet at the same time, I want to make it crystal clear that I want nothing but the best for Miss LaPlaca. I want engaging personalities, and I would encourage you all to avoid doing the same. We wish nothing but her best interest and the best interest and the best outcome for the director and his family.
Hi, Amber Copervas, 100 Madison Avenue. Before I start, am I on the 3-minute time or am I on the unlimited time? Which category am I? 3 minutes, okay. I figured, but, so just kind of to pick up where Jeff left off, we had Scott Mitchell who applied. He built up the Vincenttown Firehouse from 20 to 60 people. And he discussed that he couldn't understand, we pay that, like $50,000 to fight fires during the day. I've been to previous meetings where there's discussion about we don't have people to drive the trucks, we're understaffed, and that he could have probably gotten our day shift covered. And that we have some issues with having the ladder truck fired. So there's that. One of my questions is if we are directing all questions or concerns to our new director, what are his typical office hours so that we know if we call or we come down? What are those in-person hours?
Is that building, does anyone know the answer to that?
Well, the director should. Jason?
Director, he's the director.
Jason answer.
Again, it's a public comment, of course, to make your comments. The board can respond to them at the conclusion.
Okay, I just paused because they answer some questions and not others, so no problem. And then my other question, hearing that now the committees are in an advisory role, are there committee meetings with the directors then, or excuse me, yes, are there committee meetings with the directors? Like, is there now kind of a coordination going on, or is that ceasing? Which I guess I'll just leave that there.
I've not been in contact with regard to having any committee meetings. However, to offer deference in this particular situation, the director has just recently assumed the position, as I'm sure he will offer a more breadth of what he has been approaching in his report following y'all's comment section. I'll defer to him at that time.
So there's no schedule though, like it's not?
I am not aware of an answer to your question as it sits.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else in the public? Seeing none, closing public portion. Director's report? Motion to close public portion?
He was standing up
Second.
somebody was standing up right as you were in.
Do we have one more person speaking?
No, it's all right. Yeah, it's not closed.
If you close it, it's
No,
fine.
no, there's no roll call, so it's not closed.
Right.
You're good, there's no roll call, you're good.
Are you willing to entertain one more?
We already have
I
a
am.
motion and a second.
They do what they want.
Was there somebody out in the hallway?
He's right here.
If you want.
I'm looking to entertain one more.
You can come up, I can't see, that's why I asked, and I didn't see anybody.
Here he comes.
Oh.
He was hiding.
2 seconds. Anybody else need a question?
Robert Allen, 704 Bloomfield Drive. I just have a question regarding resolution 2025-14. Your executive session, you came out and disclosed if anything was taken, no action or anything.
You can't take action in executive session. The notice is that there could be action taken after a public session. So that you came back.
But you should have said no formal action was taken. You just came out and opened the regular meeting back up.
There is no action ever taken in an executive session. We don't act in executive session.
That's it.
Thank you.
We came out and voted, right? We came out and voted. So that was the action that resulted from I think that's what we were looking for clarity on. Right? No action was taken within the executive
You're
session.
not allowed for the action. That's what I'm trying to
No, but I think his question was, when we came out, we took an action based on the conversation that we had in closed session. Is that accurate?
Well, there was a motion made to bring right, but that's, again, there was no action taken in executive session. If you don't take action in executive session.
Okay. Are you understanding from what I'm understanding? I think his question was,
What was the vote?
did that motion derive from?
But the purpose of that, so before you go into executive session, normally, oftentimes executive session is the last item you take on an agenda. And what you will inform the public that after executive session, that they're welcome to stay regardless, but after the executive session, we may take action, so that they know. But you can also tell them we don't anticipate taking any action after executive session.
All right, director's report?
Yeah,
Oh, we didn't do the vote, I'm sorry. We did have a motion and a second. It was,
I'll make a motion.
there we go.
Commissioner Logue,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Commissioner Gaskell, Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Chairperson Garcia.
Yes. Now, director's report.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Just a point of order, a couple comments have been made about committees now being advisory. They always have been since the inception of this district. Commissioners do not act alone in committees. It's the body that the board decides and sets policy. Just for clarification on that.
Director, could you please use the microphone so they can hear you in the back of the room?
And then repeat what you
I
said.
am using the microphone, thank you. Sorry.
Can you all hear in the back of the room?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, because my
Point
microphone
of
is
order,
going in and out.
that
And yours is
committees
on,
have
right?
always been advisory. There's been no change since my hiring as director. So that's how it's always been with the committees. In the absence of a director at the helm, committees were stepping up and doing things, additional duties. So
Is that in the bylaws?
clearly states in the bylaws that what your roles are as elected officials. All right, so the report for March 2025, which by the way, I don't mind moving it up before public session if that's what the board so chooses. It doesn't matter where it is in the, on the agenda. So the overview, thank you again for your confidence in selecting me as the director. My goal is to improve efficiency, communication, morale in the department. Thus far, I have had productive meetings with team members and will continue to do so this month. Unfortunately, a big void was left when the longtime director left. This issue was compounded by simultaneously moving to this new facility. This has presented many issues, including record retention, network access, continuity of operations and processes, and communications with vendors. There are several issues with the building and infrastructure as well, but they're also being worked out. Buildings and grounds, new American flag was installed in the flagpole. Some modification will be needed to the halyard because we're going to a more standard size flag, not a custom one that costs a lot more money. PSC&G and the building engineer were contacted regarding the low pressure alarm that keeps going off in the utility room for natural gas to the building. It was determined that is not a PSC&G issue. We're still working on that with the architect and the the vendor that installed it as well as the engineer. The locksmith was contacted to address the issue with the lack of the keys, master keys for the exterior doors. They will be rekeyed. And met with buyers lock shop specifically with this. They're working with the general contractor to figure out the most cost-effective way to do it, because one way to do it is not cost-effective whatsoever. It's taking a lot of time and labor and money. So we're trying to work out a resolution with existing locks and rekeying the same. Building punch list is being updated daily, and the GC has contacted when needed. Administration. I met with the admin staff individually to review processes in place, including purchase orders, vouchers, budgeting, and communications. I also met with the finance director to discuss the budget process, to seek recommendations for improving communications and our budget process. The IT rep was on premise to address a couple software issues. I've been working with him to address issues as they arise. Email addresses have been issued to Carl Shaw, the historian, and Tim Young, the safety officer. Operations met with the chief individually and with the line officers as a group to discuss the overall state of the department, expectation, and goals. Met with the new safety officer to discuss his responsibilities, the organizational chart, the changes needed, and implementation of needed safety practices. Also, we just received correspondence for the quote for this year's ladder and hose testing, which is an important component that needs to be serviced anyway. Recruitment and retention, discussion we held with the chief about applying for SAFER grant for recruitment and retention. The funding program is still available in the current administration. Unfortunately, there's some concerns about that. This program will address the timeframes that we are experiencing lack of volunteers responding to emergencies. The current budget does allow us to implement a program without the grant, but we can seek that grant regardless. Some miscellaneous items. The MHPD hosted a reception here for the 50th anniversary of the March 1975 shooting. It took the lives of 3 officers. The event was a success, and a lot of tours were given of the history room / museum and even the overall firehouse. The Mount Holly Environmental Committee hosted a cleanup here, and it was a big success. We look forward to working with them more in the future. Life member Carl Shaw has been designated as the historian for the department. He's working diligently on the museum area, procurement of historic documents and photos, and displaying items throughout the facility. He's working with a local business in Mill Race for framing needs to properly display the items. A couple action items for you guys. Now in the near future, we have the discussions which are going to be had with about the condition of the good intent building and what the district's intent with that building property is moving forward. I'll be meeting with mutual aid partners and other service providers to improve communication moving forward in conjunction with the chief. T-Mobile's been contacted along with some other vendors. We're trying to get a lot of stuff that's still under Mr. Donnelly as the account holder. It's very tedious with getting these accounts moved over out of his name. So we are looking at adding 2 phones and 2 tablets. The tablets would be for the fire inspector, fire official's office, if you will, the inspector's use, and then 2 phones, one for the chief, one for myself, so it's a public phone and can be opened up, everything on it's public information, and improve communication and contact with both of us. And last but not least, we're in the process of identifying outdated and unserviceable equipment. There's been some departments recently in the news that have been decimated by floods and other natural disasters that are seeking equipment. So we have some excess equipment that's, to us not serviceable or feasible to service, means we obtain new equipment to replace those. We're going to attempt to try to donate some of that if we can. The councilor is working on that for a resolution to properly allow us to do so. It's not something we can just arbitrarily do. Last but not least, I'd like to thank the staff and all the volunteers for their time. We've had some productive meetings, especially the volunteers who donate countless hours to the department. And last but not least, I'd like to thank everybody personally that's reached out to me with their words of encouragement. Thank you.
Solicitor's report?
I don't have anything additional beyond what was reported in the session. Thank you.
I do have one thing. I don't know, you guys should have gotten emails, if I'm correct, Courtney might have sent it already. Wednesday's child aired today.
Can you speak in a microphone so we can hear? It's not too much.
Wednesday's child aired today. She did send a link out. Yeah, so you guys should have it in your emails.
Yes, Courtney was nice enough to include all of us on her email.
So, it will be posted on the fire on our Facebook page for the segment. It was a very nice segment. And that's all I have. Next meeting date is May 7th, 2025. And can I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
did you say at this point, we could address the things that well? Is that what you said? At what point am I allowed a few words?
Now.
Or am I not entitled to a few words?
There were, you could bring up something during new business.
Uh-huh. So I had a couple of questions. So, Director, you mentioned 2 incredible events, it sounds like, that we hosted or were party to here. Were they put on a calendar for anyone? Were they posted somewhere for us to be aware of? I mean, I'm delighted to hear they were successful and that the community was able to come together, but I was unaware of them until I saw them on Facebook. So how would one become aware of those things as a representative of the district prior to them occurring?
Unfortunately, I was also unaware of them until they happened.
Okay.
Moving forward, I asked for improved communication so we can make sure everyone's aware of
really
that. I was just saying they
that's
were good
lovely.
events, they look good on Facebook, and it was part of the community. I was just saying they did a good job with members getting engaged with it. So moving forward, yes, we need improved communication.
Do you think you could put it on the shared calendar?
You can absolutely
Thank you.
do a shared calendar if
Lovely.
things come up.
Thank you, I'm looking forward to many
Top
more
of my
successful
head,
events.
this Friday, Chief, we're going to Rita's Water Ice for their,
Who, do you know, because they were just.
they just contacted us.
Great, so they just, out of the blue?
Out of the blue,
Out
they
there?
called us and said, can you bring a fire truck? And we just talked about it today.
Oh, you went to them, they.
No, they
hosted it here.
We're going this Friday to that.
Fire truck taken to it. Hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so the one that you were talking about, the 2 events you were talking about during your report.
They already happened.
Right, so when were they scheduled? Are you aware of when they
No,
were
I do
scheduled?
not. I'm
Okay.
not aware when they're scheduled prior to my being hired.
Okay, excellent, so that's very helpful to me, thank you. I'm delighted that they were successful and thank you for helping to facilitate them in doing so.
Open the doors, the public doesn't try to do with us.
I know that the public is looking forward to having access to their investment, so that's great news. Thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.